Hey guys, I'm a 33-year-old man, and I've been married to my wife, Mindy, who's 30 for about 3 years now. We met through mutual friends several years ago, and after dating for almost 4 years, we decided to get married. Mindy and I share a lot in common, including our previous careers as bankers. After we got married, she quit her job to join her friend in starting a business. She had saved enough money, and I promised to support her, which I did. Mindy had always wanted her own business since her parents were entrepreneurs, though not very successful. They run a small-scale makeup and beauty business limited to locals, but Mindy wanted something bigger. I supported her dream completely. I also come from a business background, but I never really took an interest. My parents were wealthy, thanks to my grandfather, who started a bakery business that my dad later took over and made flourish. The company will go to my brother, and I'm fine with that because I'm happy with my job. Sadly, my parents passed away a couple of months ago. My dad had been dealing with heart problems for a long time and succumbed to a cardiac arrest. My mother passed away during the pandemic, which was a tough time for our family. Mindy was a great support through it all, and I was grateful to have her. My brother and I had to manage our parents' affairs after their sudden passing. While speaking to our parents' lawyer, we learned they had a clause in their will that delayed the inheritance until both had passed. Only recently did we complete the probate process and read the will's contents. It was no surprise that our parents had dramatic stipulations, since they always enjoyed theatrics. Both my brother and I had to be present for the will reading, which felt like a scene from a movie to me, though Mindy didn't appreciate the drama. My brother and I finally met for the reading a couple of weeks ago. The will stated that all property would be divided equally. My brother, who had been managing the business during my father's illness, inherited the business. I inherited our sprawling childhood home. All the money was split equally, and any unlisted properties were to be sold, with the proceeds going to charity. My brother and I were happy with the arrangement, finding it fair. However, Mindy felt that the business should have also been left to me so we could run it together. I didn't agree, as I had no interest in running my parents' bakery business. I'm content with my job. It pays well and I hold a high position, so I had nothing to worry about. My brother had put in the work to understand the company and knew everything about the business. I didn't think it would be fair for our parents to leave it to both of us to run as partners. He deserved to be the sole owner because he had worked for it. I knew he could reach even greater heights than our father because of his amazing business acumen. I was proud of my brother, and we have a great relationship. I was sure that if I was ever in trouble, he would bail me out without question. However, Mindy didn't like what was going on. She was pacified by the fact that I inherited the mansion. It was worth a lot, built a long time ago by my great-grandfather on my mother's side. My mother's family was quite wealthy, possibly from aristocracy. They maintained their wealth through hard work, and my parents worked hard despite their generational advantage. They never looked down on anyone less financially well off, and they raised me the same way. When Mindy found out I was going to inherit the estate, she started insisting we sell it for a great price and go on vacation. She wanted us both to quit our jobs and travel for several months, but I thought it was a crazy plan. I love my job and the people I work with. Mindy, on the other hand, hated working. Her business with a friend wasn't doing well, and she was paid less than she used to earn at the bank. I respected her effort, but didn't think it was fair for her to demand I quit my job. I put my foot down and told her I wouldn't sell the property. It held a lot of sentimental value to me. When I declined, she got really mad and called me selfish. She said I was doing the same thing my parents did by looking down on her. We had the worst argument of our relationship that day, saying mean things to each other. She packed her things and left to live with her parents, saying she wouldn't come back until I changed my mind about the vacation. She claimed it was about the principle, that I wasn't willing to make sacrifices for her or prioritize our marriage. It seemed like Mindy was making things up to guilt-trip me into agreeing with her, Even when I asked for an example of when I had put her down, she couldn't come up with anything. It was just a stupid argument fueled by rage, and I really regret it because I love my wife and want her to come back. However, the things she said were cruel and unnecessary. She made me feel like the villain for not wanting to quit my job just because she hated hers. Mindy also said hurtful things about my parents, which I thought was a low blow. They're gone now and can't defend themselves. Call me sensitive, but I think it's in bad taste to speak ill of the dead. She claimed my parents always looked down on her because she didn't come from a wealthy family. This confused me because my parents had always been kind to her. They were not the kind of people to judge others based on wealth. Anyone who knew them would vouch for that. Her insulting my parents and calling me selfish for things I shouldn't feel bad about led me to decide I wouldn't contact her unless she reached out to me first. The fight was very personal, so I hadn't told anyone about it, not even my brother. This was a mistake because a couple of days ago, my brother tried to reach me about something important, but couldn't get through since I was in a meeting. Unaware of the fight, he called Mindy instead. My brother mentioned that Mindy said she was happy about his news. When I finally spoke to him, I explained the fight and that she was living with her parents. I was worried about what she might do next, but I was still willing to proceed with my brother's plan. That evening, Mindy reached out, sounding morose. I thought she was going to apologize for the horrible things she said about me and my parents. Instead, she started by saying she heard about my plans for my brother and wanted to make things right. She wanted to come home and discuss everything. I was taken aback that she didn't immediately apologize. Feeling entitled, I asked if she had anything else to add. She replied that she didn't feel sorry because she believed everything she said was overdue. Mindy claimed she had never felt part of my family due to our differences in background. She admitted it might be her own inferiority complex, but she felt our behavior didn't help. She thought we were constantly showing off our wealth, making her feel different. I found this absurd because we never acted that way. It felt like she was making it all up. Told her that my parents had been nothing but lovely to her and that her claims were unfounded. Annoyed by her victim mentality, I said I didn't want to speak to her anymore unless she acknowledged she screwed up. She refused, and in the heat of the moment, I told her that if she didn't feel sorry for the things she had said, we had nothing more to discuss. I said I would file for divorce and that she should prepare herself with a lawyer. Then I hung up on her. That must have scared her because ever since, she's been calling me relentlessly, begging for forgiveness. She keeps saying I'm blowing things out of proportion, but she still hasn't apologized. Mindy has been begging me to take her back and give her a chance to explain everything, but I don't think I owe her that until she apologizes for the hurtful things she said about my family. My brother agrees with me. He thinks I should hold out on speaking to her until she acknowledges her mistake. She's been texting me nonstop, but I haven't replied because I don't have anything to say to her. What do you say to someone who refuses to acknowledge they were wrong? Mindy insists that if we meet and talk in person, I'll understand her side of things, but I have no intention of meeting her until she admits she messed up. Last night, I made it clear I wouldn't speak to her until she apologized, giving her an ultimatum. If she didn't decide within 3 days, I would file for divorce. I love her, but I can't let her disrespect me and my family. She accused me of being unfair and selfish, prioritizing my inheritance over our marriage. I don't understand what she's implying, but I don't like it. I'm trying to make things work by giving her a chance to make things right, but it seems like she doesn't care if the marriage works unless it's on her terms. I feel suffocated and don't know where to go from here. I talked to my brother, and he thinks I should file for divorce. This is a big deal for me because I take my relationship seriously. I want to make sure I'm doing the right thing and not have any regrets. Am I wrong for wanting a divorce after my wife insisted I sell my childhood home to fund a 6-month vacation? Update 1. Hi, it's been 2 weeks since I posted here. A couple of days ago, I finally filed for divorce. Last week, after a lot of insistence from Mindy, we met for lunch at a restaurant. I wanted it to be impersonal and prevent a scene. It was awkward seeing her after so long. I wish I could say we worked things out, but we didn't. She repeated the same things, saying she felt disrespected because she didn't come from a wealthy family. It was exasperating because even she knew this was all in her head. I told her she needed to stop, but she said she couldn't because that's how her brain functions. Well, I understand she has issues. I can't let her walk all over me. She felt I was being selfish for not putting her above the house my parents left me. I told her it was an unfair comparison and that I was tired of her trying to make me look like the bad guy. I told her I had been thinking about it and was going to file for divorce. She seemed shocked but didn't create a scene. She respected my decision, even though she didn't prefer it. We haven't spoken since, and she has blocked me everywhere. I have filed for divorce, and in a couple of months, it will be finalized. We had a prenup, so the process should be straightforward, but it's still emotionally exhausting. Update 2. Today, I found out that Mindy will not be contesting the divorce. I don't know how to feel. I'm relieved this is ending, but also upset that my marriage is over. It's sad, but this is what I wanted, and I have to make peace with it. I've started packing away things that remind me of her to make the process easier. My friends and brother are supporting me, and I'm grateful for that. They're helping me get through this. Update 3. My divorce with Mindy was finalized a couple of weeks ago. It was straightforward, but saying goodbye to her one last time was difficult. Things will be different now, and I'm trying to accept that.